We're here at Delaware Valley Bluegrass Festival 2019, sitting here with Barry Mitteroff, who has played mandolin and I guess other instruments too. And we're going to find out. I've been a big fan since, especially the Hot Tuna days, but I know it dates a lot further back than that. Barry, thanks for sitting down and talking with us. And how you doing today?
Good. It's nice to be here. Had a great weekend.
Great. Well, tell us what you were doing here this weekend.
Well, this weekend I was teaching the Wernick method. I was the teaching assistant to Heidi, and we taught the class 2 hours a day, 9 to 11, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And we had midnight jams, and we had some daytime jams as well. And we had a lot of people come down to the Jam Central place, and we had a great time.
And you are a normal Wernick method instructor, and you give lessons as well. In your neck of the woods, what's that, Central Jersey?
Yeah, I live in the part of New Jersey that's right near New York City, about 20 miles west of the Holland Tunnel. And I teach private mandolin lessons in New York City and in my home in New Jersey. And then in the last 4 or 5 years, I started teaching these jamming classes, teaching people how to make music with other people and how to playing bluegrass music.
Well, now, how did it all start, though, for you? Did you go to school for music, or you play the mandolin mostly? And how'd you learn? How old were you when you started playing?
Well, I was about 16 when I switched from the guitar to mandolin, and I had a family friend, a teacher named Bob Applebaum, who's a real great jazz mandolinist and all over bluegrass mandolinist. He lives in Venice, California. He gave me 4 lessons between my junior and senior year of high school, and I just sort of took off with it and never stopped playing. And I started playing in bluegrass bands just a couple of years later.
What was the bands that you started playing with when you turned pro?
Well, I guess I played with these friends, some of the friends of mine that I still play with today, Danny Weiss and Larry Cohen. They were both in Tony Trishka and Skyline. But back in those days, we all went to high school together, and then I was asked to join a full-time bluegrass band at the end of my freshman year in college, and so I did what all impetuous youth do. I dropped out of college and played bluegrass music for 6 years, and then I went back and finished my degree.
So what other bands? I know you played a lot of klezmer music.
Yes,
How'd you get into that?
Well, I kind of like the using the mandolin in as many different contexts as I can. So I play, in addition to playing bluegrass, I play a lot of Jewish music, some Brazilian music where they use the mandolin, and some Italian music. I played all 3 of those.
And this all came from just 4 lessons on the mandolin?
Well, no, I had some more lessons after that, but just a few. Most of them self-taught.
Wow.
I have no one to blame but myself.
And how'd you get after playing with them? I know I want to walk it up to when you were with Hot Tuna, because I'm a huge Hot Tuna fan. So, but weren't you with other bands in between?
Yeah, well, I was with this band called Bottle Hill. I was in a band called Bottle Hill, based in northern Jersey, and that was together for most of the 1970s. And then that split up, and I started playing for about 3 years with Peter Rowan and Tex Logan. They had a bluegrass band with Lamar Greer and Roger Mason on bass, and that was really, really a fun band to play with.
What was that called?
It was called Peter Rowan, Tex Logan, and the Greengrass Gringos.
Oh, so you're a gringo.
I'm a gringo, and we played. I don't think we ever played Gray Fox, but we definitely played the Berkshire Mountain Bluegrass Festival, which was in the same area of New York.
Became Gray Fox.
Became Gray Fox, and we did a lot of nice festivals with them. And I became very close with Tex Logan, and he was kind of my mentor for many years.
Oh, wow. So then as the years went by, you just started teaching on the side, because you're a pretty big time teacher these days.
Yeah, I've always taught since I was, since I just started playing. I had students when I was, in college, and I just always think it's a good way to learn how to play is by teaching.
And how did you meet up with Yorma?
Well, that's a funny story. I spent most of the 1980s playing with Tony Trishka, and he and I were in Europe, in England, at a bluegrass camp, sort of like this, but called Sore Fingers Summer School. It's not in the summer, but it's a bluegrass camp based in England, and I was teaching there, and I was having lunch with a great dobro player named Sally Van Meter, and we just asked each other what we were doing this summer, and she said, "Oh, I'm playing 20 gigs with Jorma Kaukonen, and he's looking for a mandolin player." said, "Oh, okay, I fit the bill." And I ended up calling him or emailing him, and I got the job, and I stayed with him for 14 years.
Wow. But just to go back for a moment, tell us about playing with Tony Trischka.
Well, Tony and I started a band in 1980 called Tony Trischka and Skyline. We did 4 albums. We toured Europe quite often, and we did. It was in some ways it was a vehicle for Tony's original music, and he inspired me to write more tunes. And then it was also we had 2 lead singers, Dee Dee Weiland and Danny Weiss, a male lead singer and a female lead singer. So the vocals were very strong, and it was a great band. And we went from 1980 to '89. And then I just sort of freelanced a while until this the klezmer thing came around. I did a lot of work with them, with 2 different klezmer bands. But the main one is called Margot Leverett and the Klezmer Mountain Boys. And that was a combination of bluegrass and klezmer music. And that was a lot of fun. And then the thing with Hot Tuna started in 2002 and went all the way up to 2015.
So, but with the bluegrass and klezmer, was there you able to make a living? Is there a lot of people interested in that?
Well, yeah, I don't know what you call a living, but we played quite a bit. It was a fun band. We did this festival in San Francisco called Hardly Strictly Bluegrass.
Sure, I know.
And we played there. We had a very successful time there. We played a lot of the places around New York City. And it was a fun band. We had a fiddle player was Kenny Kosek, who was in Jerry Garcia's acoustic band when they did a week on Broadway.
Oh yeah,
back in the
wow.
day.
That's pretty cool. So now you when you go to Hot Tuna, does that change things up for you? I mean, it's a whole different kind of genre in a way.
Yeah, it was a learning experience for me. The stuff that Jorma Kaukonen plays, the blues and ragtime, I was a little bit familiar with that. But then playing electric mandolin and playing rock and roll was a new thing to me. I really enjoyed it. I really learned a lot, and I had some cool, like electric mandolins, a 5-string, a 4-string, an 8-string. I had an octave mandolin, Dan Electro, and I had a lot of cool toys.
It also seemed to me that you were speaking a lot on stage, like you were part of the banter quite a bit.
They used me to help sell the merchandise, and so I thought that was pretty funny, and just trying to say things that are humorous.
Yeah, so now you're teaching a lot.
Now I teach quite a bit. I freelance and play with whoever asks me to, and I just don't travel. I don't travel as much as I used to, and just stick around at home. My kids are grown, and I like seeing them, and so it's good.
How would people that want to learn from you? How would they get in touch with you?
Just go. I'm on Facebook, and also it's just Barry Mitteroff at hotmail.com. I'm pretty easy to find.
All right, excellent.
Yeah.
Great. Well, we wish you the best of luck.
Okay,
we look
man.
forward to seeing more of you.
Good.
And I know you put on the Warning Method instructions. And what's that, in Central Jersey?
Yeah, a little bit northern central.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, thank you for speaking with us.
Thank you, man. It's a pleasure.